Welcome to What Are Those, the show that explores the art of sneaker culture. I'm your host, Adam Butler, back with another episode, and thank you so very much for being here. Before I get started on this very special episode of What Are Those, I want to thank the folks at the OMFnetwork. That's the family right there. I represent that. You need to go download the On My Feet app, man. It's the first app for sneakerheads by sneakerheads. Everything you need to know about the culture, it's right there. What are you waiting for? Apple, Android, anywhere you want to get an app, anywhere you can get an app, you can do that. Download it now. All right, man, today's show is about defeating the hype. So today's heat check is anti-hype, all right, man, because we don't always need to have on hype sneakers in order to feel fresh. And that's the theme of today's show. So before we get into that, let's talk and let's get into this week's heat check. All right, listen to me, fam. All heat ain't hype, all right? And that's the point of this show right here. This is the Nike Air Max XC, a slept-on model. No hype behind the sneaker at all. For real, I just think it's beautiful. I think it's dope. I like the yellow highlights in the back. I love the way blue matches with the white, man. It's just a dope shoe with the infrared on there, man. Fire shoe. Wanted to rock this one. That's this week's heat check. So let me know what you're rocking on feet. So today we're doing something different. All right, we have no guests on today's show. It's just me sharing my opinion. It won't even be that long of a show because I just want to share my opinion on something that's really been going on in the sneaker community, and that is the issue of buying or purchasing UA sneakers, unauthorized sneakers, all right, or reps, whatever you want to call them. Some people call them fake, some people call them reps, some people call them UAs, whatever you want to call them. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the resale community, and we're going to try to break this down as fairly as we possibly can. So first and foremost, for the people that tune into the show just to learn about the culture, let's talk about what a UA is, okay? What is a replica? It's pretty self-explanatory, but let me just talk about how it works out. Okay, so a UA is usually a knockoff or direct copy of a Nike sneaker, Adidas sneaker, or a top brand sneaker, all right? So if you have something like a Travis Scott or a Yeezy or an off-white sneaker, which usually resells very expensive, and we're going to get into that. That's something we're definitely going to touch on. What happens is the factory in China that actually makes the Nike shoe, for the most part, right, will have the actual design of the sneaker, and someone who knows who will get in there and then create a replica of the sneaker. Now, sometimes these reps are spot on. Sometimes they're honestly trash. What's starting to happen now is that the reps are starting to become so good, right, that you have to have a special kind of light, right? A UV light just to spot any type of blemishes or flaws within the sneaker, or you have to find someone with a perfect eye that can spot the flaws in the sneaker. Now, doing it from the naked eye is very difficult. We've had big companies, I don't want to throw any companies out there, but big reselling companies that have issues with spotting UAs, and you have people that actually go into these situations thinking they're buying an official shoe and end up having an unauthorized shoe. So when they go to resell it or they go to get legit checked, they find out that their sneaker is fake. And that's the scariest part about it, right? But let's take a step back and let's just talk about UAs, right, and why someone would buy a UA. All right, so on my TikTok page, right, the Butler Did It podcast, follow me there. On my TikTok, there was a great video by a member, and I'm actually going to link his page down below, right? There was a great TikTok by a member on there that talked about how he was no longer going to buy official Nike sneakers, namely Jordans and higher brand, higher model sneakers, right? Or however you want to phrase that. The reason he gives is because it's so difficult to hit on the sneakers app or any of the selling apps, right? The Nike app or in a retailer like Foot Locker or whatever. It's so difficult to hit and get the sneaker for retail. And then once it hits the resale market, in his opinion, he believes that the resellers are gobbling up all these sneakers and then selling them for double and triple the price. And let's be honest, that is what's happening. Reselling is at an all-time high. It's extremely difficult to buy sneakers these days, right? And if you just enjoy purchasing sneakers and having them for yourself, right? And you're just a collector, or you're just a person that just wants to look fresh, right? Or you just want a nice pair of sneakers, even if you just own one. It can be disheartening when you find out that a sneaker that that retails for $120 or $160 is reselling for $500, $600, $700, $800, or $900 or more. That can be a blower. So many people are turning to unauthorized sneakers. And again, as I mentioned before, these sneakers look better than ever. The debate that's happening within the sneaker community is this cool or not? It's really that simple. People are trying to figure out if it's a acceptable move to buy a fake sneaker and wear a fake sneaker, right? Here's my opinion on this. I think we're in a dangerous place, right? I believe we're in a dangerous place where sneakerheads and fans of sneaker culture feel like they have to buy a knockoff version of a sneaker just to say that they have it, right? Now, I featured a certain sneaker in my heat check this week because I really wanted to show you that, every now and then, I whip out heat, man. I'm a working man, right? I manage my money. I save up my money. Sometimes I get lucky and I buy a sneaker for retail. Often I have to buy it for resale, but that's my choice. I make that decision. I make sure I never skip a bill and I take care of my business. And every now and then I'll get a hyped up sneaker, right? But for the most part, what really fills out my collection is just stuff I like. Huaraches or foam posits or Air Max. I love Air Max. That's why I feature the Air Max in my heat check, right? What am I getting at? Being fresh, being an individual, and that's a key word, being an individual, right? And feeling good about yourself is all about you. That's your decision. You can rock anything and make it look good. So I'm against buying unauthorized sneakers on purpose. Now, again, we'll get into how you can accidentally buy some unauthorized sneakers in a moment. All right. And we'll get into the reseller aspect of it in a moment. But I just want to talk about the idea of trying to rage against the machine by buying fake sneakers. And again, do what you want. It's your life. It's your feet. It's your body. Do what you want. It's your money, most importantly. But I feel like if you have to go buy a fake pair of Travs because you can't get the real pair of Travs, you're just trying to fit in. Because you just want to have those Travis Scotts or those off-whites or whatever is a high-selling UA sneaker at the moment, a Jordan 1, whatever model of Jordan 1 there is, right, or colorway of Jordan 1 there is. You're doing that because you're just trying to fit in. How many of you are rocking UAs and bragging about the fact that they're UAs? I doubt many of you. Some people on TikTok and on IG making videos boldly talking about how they rock UAs. Some of them are just trying to sell UAs. Again, goes back to our reseller discussion, which we'll get to in a moment. But most people aren't really admitting that they're rocking UAs. Most people wear them hoping that no one will notice that they have on the fake shoe. And again, that gets to a sad part of this culture for me, right? When you're just trying to impress people. And I get it. It's all materialism at the end of the day. But for me personally, I rock sneaks to feel good about myself. I rock them because I love the culture. I love what the art represents. And I can find art in any pair of dope sneaks. Asics, New Balance, Nikes, Adidas, whatever. If you can find beauty in that sneaker, you should rock it. There isn't, the beauty isn't exclusive to the hyped up sneaks. And that's the problem. We're getting caught up in the hype beast part of this culture and not dealing with why we love sneakers in the first place. Why Run DMC was rocking Adidas in the first place, right? Why Spike fell in love with J's or whoever you may look at as a pioneer in this culture, right? That's not what it was for. It's about individuality. It's about being an individual. It's about being yourself. It's about speaking for yourself. It's about making a statement. And making a statement to me is not buying a knockoff pair of sneakers and hoping you don't get caught because you can't afford the real ones. Now let's get into why you can't afford the real ones. Yes, I bought from resellers. Sure, I resold some sneakers. But the reselling market, let's just keep it real, has gotten outrageous. We've all heard the stories about what happened over the sneakers app. We all heard stories about StockX. I'm not knocking any companies or anything like that. That's not what I'm here to do. But I am here to tell the truth. And the truth is reselling has become outrageous. And let's just be really real. Most of the people that are reselling sneakers are not for the culture. They are capitalists. They see something. They see an opportunity to make money. They know that there's a big audience for this thing, and they gobble it up and sell it. I remember years ago, a friend of mine wanted to go to an Adele concert. I know that's a funny thing to compare to sneakers, but it makes sense in this case. Wanted to go to an Adele concert. Tickets sold out in seconds because all the bots and everything bought it all up. And then they were reselling tickets that probably, I don't know, the most expensive ticket may have been $200 for $2,000. And I remember this person being extremely upset about that. And I said to them, damn, welcome to the sneaker world. That was years ago, and it was nothing compared to what we're going through now. Now it's nearly impossible to buy a dope sneaker or a sneaker that people deem to be hype retail, and that is disappointing. And I can see why people are being driven and become desperate to get what they want. I had a couple of people in the comment section tell me, like, listen, man, what if I just love the way this sneaker looks? What if I just want to have something that looks like this in my collection? And for real, to be honest with you, it's real difficult for me to argue with that, right? Again, you're going to do what you want with your money. I can only tell you what I think about the culture. That's the thing about this sneaker culture, right? Is that it's all about your personal preference, right? Okay, you rock UAs, whatever, that's on you. They're so good these days, I probably wouldn't even be able to tell the difference. And I'm not going to be walking around with some type of UV light trying to spot out your fakes. It's not that serious to me, and it shouldn't be that serious to you. So do what you do. And I understand why someone would be driven to that. But let's deal with the issue at hand instead of saying, yo, I'm going to buy a lesser quality product, right? Because most times the product's going to be less quality, right? Okay, you may get a perfect UA or whatever, knockoff, whatever you want to call it, but more than likely you're going to get something that's less than. All right, cool. How far does that go? How far does that go? And then how do we deal with the reason why you're actually purchasing this thing? Bots, resellers, crazy apps that give you no access to the product, to me, is the problem. I don't have the answer to how to solve that problem. If I did, I'd be a rich man. Maybe the answer is these companies should produce more sneaks. You know, my wife, she loves red bottoms. She never has to win a raffle to get one. She doesn't have to get on an app and hit within seconds to get one. She doesn't have to purchase bots in order to get a pair of red bottoms. She just needs the money to have them. I personally wouldn't even be upset if Nike raised the price on their stuff. Hey, if it's a hyped up designer version of a sneaker, if it's an Off-White or a Trav, and you decide to put that in the designer department of Nike, or a Yeezy is in the designer department of Adidas, and that's a $500 shoe or a $400 shoe, I get to make that decision. But see, what I don't like is you taking that decision away from me. So I understand why people get desperate. To be honest with you, I love this culture. I've said it a million times. Sneaker culture is a subculture of hip hop culture. Hip hop culture is a subculture of black culture. And cultures are meant to be shared and meant to grow. And anybody that's anti that and anybody that's against that, I cannot fool with. So if you're hurting people, if you're putting people in desperate situations, if you're robbing people, right, cheating people, I don't fool with it. I'm not a fan of it, and I never will be. Do your thing, get your bread, whatever. I don't hate on anybody making a living. There's a way to resell without robbing people, if I can be honest with you. But at the end of the day, the problem isn't the reseller or the person that buys the bot. The problem is the company that won't expand the demand or expand the production, of the product. If there were more, there'd be less opportunities to gobble them all up. Okay? I want to keep this conversation going. Let's talk about the UAs, man. Let's see what you say about this, right? Are you willing to purchase this? Is this something that you would do? A couple of people over my TikTok say they would, right? I think that's interesting. Are you against UAs? Are you saying, hey, I'd rather rock a less hype shoe than buy a fake shoe? Let me know what you think in the comments below. I appreciate you all for tuning in. Thank you so much, man, for continuously supporting the show. Thank you for supporting the OMF network. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, hit me up in the comments. Remember to follow me, MSR_Adam. Let's keep this conversation going. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, continue to be great. I'm up out of here.